This is a story about a restaurant as well. It's a legal case. Certainly Lisa Lanier will weigh in on this, our official attorney, on Friday when she's on for Lawyer Up. There is a student from Pennsylvania University, an Ivy League student. Her name's Sarah Katz, 21 years old. She has a heart condition called long QT syndrome type 1. So she had to avoid energy drinks at the recommendation of her doctors. Well, her family is suing because she went into Panera Bread in Philadelphia in September of 2022. She bought something called charged lemonade. And she thought that charged lemonade had about the same amount of caffeine as some other teas and coffees on the same wall with the Panera Bread drinks. Well, it turned out it had way more caffeine in it than those other drinks. She had it and wound up going into cardiac arrest and dying.
Oh, my God.
At the age of 21. It's awful. The lawsuit claims that charged lemonade was side by side with all the other less caffeinated beverages and was advertised as plant-based and cleaned, even though it contained as much that it contained as much caffeine as their dark roast coffee. But at 390 milligrams, that was 10 times as much as their dark roast coffee. So she had way more caffeine than her body could handle. And her roommate and best friend said she was so careful about this, she never, ever would have had this had she known. Now, they don't print the caffeine amounts there on the sign when they're doing this at the Panera. It is on their website. So the question is it on Panera or is it on her to figure out what has the caffeine?
I flipped immediately right there at that statement.
What, but it's on their website?
Because I was like, it's her fault. You know, she didn't look. But if it's not labeled right there, then I side with the family.
Well, how many are
at the fountain or
how many are labeled at the fountain?
At the drink station?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm with the family then.
But how many restaurants is it labeled there generally?
No.
I've never seen it.
No, but I think if I was something said charged lemonade and it was in line with all the other teas, I wouldn't think it had the extreme amount of caffeine.
Well, then you're on the
I'm on the family side.
You're on the family side with it, yeah.
It's in a can, yeah. So it's the info's on the can.
I'm not sure that it was in the can.
I pictured not because
That's a fountain.
Is it a fountain drink?
That's what I'm picturing now. The way the family says it wasn't there because if it was a can and lined up, I do blame her because she could have flipped the can around and labeled. But what I'm picturing is a fountain drink.
Well, me too, but I don't know that. Panera says they put the nutrition information on their website. It also has several stimulants in it. It has the equivalent of 30 teaspoons of sugar, 390 milligrams of caffeine, both very high, way higher than a standard cup of Red Bull even or Monster Energy. So this charged lemonade is something she absolutely could not have. Her lawyer says, I think anyone would think a lemonade is safe. You think
especially
of it
in a Panera
as lemonade.
How does that pair with a
Panera
tomato, basil, and a bread bowl?
It looks like it's fountain. I don't think it's canned.
I think you're right.
Yeah, my thing is, if it's along with the energy teas and things, though, I would.
Well, it was beside other teas, but all of those did have lower levels of caffeine.
That's what I mean. If this is like 3 times the caffeine that and not labeled.
Well, still, though, you've got water right next to Coke. Coke has a lot more caffeine than water. They're right beside
They don't tell you.
They don't tell you what's what. You know what they are.
You know what they are, but I don't know. I still kind of side with that
Side
much
with her.
caffeine.
Side
Yeah.
with her on
Does
that.
the industry need a change? Where they mark these things better? Or I mean, this is the second time in as many weeks we've heard about something like this.
Well, you know,
Not the other person didn't die, I don't think, but
I don't know
the
because
woman driving the school bus.
the woman driving the school bus had a.
Did she drink no, she was drinking a liquor drink. But I mean,
she didn't realize it was
she
liquor.
didn't realize.
Oh,
People
yeah.
that don't realize that things
they
look
are.
like.
She's drinking hard seltzer.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to mix themselves in there. These energy drinks and liquor drinks.
Well, the can does look
The
similar.
cans
In
to
that
make
case, the can looks so similar to a Celsius. She thought she was grabbing a Celsius out of the fridge. It turned out to be a White Claw
Truly
or
or
something.
something,
Yeah. Blogger Jen, you're talking about charged lemonade. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, so that's a super sad story. But I'm pretty sure where I work there's a Panera, and I'm pretty sure it's labeled because I've seen it. I've looked at it before, and I've had it before. It's tasty, but I'm pretty sure it is labeled like 2 times the caffeine or as much caffeine as dark roast. It's got it on the little thing, and maybe all of them don't label that way, but I'm pretty sure that where I work does.
Interesting. Well, now she says that it says it has as much caffeine as the dark roast coffee, but really it's way more.
Is it because she drank more?
I'll bet if it's a fountain drink and you sit inside the restaurant and you drink a big one, and you're like, damn, that was good.
Get a refill?
Go get a refill before you leave.
Well, these are details I don't have. Those are good questions. How much did she
Isn't
have?
that usually what you do, though, if you eat inside?
But if you say that it has the same amount of caffeine as the dark roast coffee, and the dark roast coffee has, let's say, 90 milligrams, and this has 390, that's really misrepresenting, isn't it?
Agreed. I don't think that's a fair comparison at all.
I don't either. Thank you very much, Blogger Jen. James, you're talking about the labeling at Panera. Go ahead.
Hey guys, P1.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I have the the Panera drink subscription thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $12 a month. You can get like unlimited coffee and like including the lemonades and sodas.
Right.
So I frequent the lemonades myself, and I found that I live in Raleigh, and I found that they have like the caffeine content listed on the lemonades ever since they've had them, and it says like 290 milligrams equivalent to the dark roast coffee. So whatever area she lives in, she might not have those signs.
That's the question to me. You know, if the sign is up, then it's on her. If it wasn't up, maybe not. You know, no matter what, though, do you think it's sort of on the drinker of the drink to know what's going in your body? I mean, ultimately, you're putting it in your body, right?
I would think so, yeah.
And not to go too big business here, but can you prove that that's what killed her?
If they do an autopsy.
Well, I think they did. I think they have proved that's what killed her. I mean, it did cause her heart to go out of control, and she did have that. Now, she had the pre-existing condition that she had to really watch it. Thank you, James. Her family and her friends say she was adamant about watching it, so she thought this was just lemonade. You know,
a pre-existing condition may save Panera.
Well, maybe so.
In a court of law.
It's possible. Adam, you're talking about this labeling at Panera. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Me and my wife, we went to Panera just the other day, and we saw the charged lemonade. I'd never seen it before. I gave it to my kid, and my wife was like, hey, do you know that was charged lemonade? It has extra caffeine in it. I had no idea there was no labels at the Panera by my house.
So I wonder if Paneras are all different based on ownership groups or whatever, you know?
No.
Or they should be labeled.
Some have a drive-through. I wonder, if this woman went to the drive-through.
I'm not sure. That's another thing I don't know. I'm not sure. I picture her going in and getting it out of the...
Making her own drink.
So a kid could buy this, too.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, it's lemonade. I mean, it's charged lemonade.
You know, just knowing what I know, I bet some stores, they put it up, and some stores, they don't. And it's just...
Maybe.
You know, and Panera has thousands of locations. I mean, somebody... I feel like is going to lose a job or two over this.
You do? You think that?
Yeah, because especially because I would bet Panera is going to say this was supposed to be labeled.
Well, maybe
and if it wasn't in the store, then the store is going to have the answering to.
Can they fall back on it's on our website?
I think that's what definitely they'll try, and they'll probably this family will probably get out lawyered by Panera's,
or they'll settle with them.
Or they'll settle with them. But I would go to that store and say, "Did you have the sign up?" And if they say no, we're going to say, "Well, this is why you need to have it."
The website refers to charged lemonade as the ultimate energy drink, but the lawsuit alleges that it was not advertised as such in-store at the time of Kat's death. And so they're saying it wasn't labeled properly.
Do we know, Kelly, how, I know we're peppering you with questions you don't have the answer to, how soon she passed after drinking the drink?
Quickly.
Quickly?
Yeah, she got back to her apartment and was immediately in distress, and they called 911 and she died.
Well, that's
terrible.
That's a coincidence.
Oh, it's awful. Oh, I think it definitely killed her. I really do, because she had this pre-existing condition. But, you know, should she have been? Is it on her, or is it more on the store? Sports Ryan, always good to hear from you. You're talking about this lemonade. Go ahead.
Yeah, my brother-in-law went to UPenn. It's an Ivy League school. It's a school for very, very smart people. Clearly, they know how to do research. If you've got something that's potentially fatal and you have to be that careful about everything you put in your body, the name charged lemonade would give me enough pause to ask a question, to look it up on a website, or just to not take my chances and drink something else. I think she's got to take better care to make sure if anything she drinks could be fatal. I got to give her more of the blame than the restaurant.
Yeah, and it is called charged lemonade.
Yeah, the word charged does stand out, but you go down any juice aisle and, you know, kids' drinks are probably sound exciting. Hawaiian Punch.
But that's not the same as charged.
No, but I don't think it's necessarily going to make somebody pause and think that's loaded with caffeine.
Well, I don't know. The word charged or...
it could mean, hey, it's charged with a bunch of lemons. It has overwhelming lemon flavor.
That's a good question. Where would these be in a grocery store?
I bet they'd be with the energy drinks, like with the Celsius and the Monster and that kind of stuff. Don't
absolutely.
You think?
Yeah.
Isn't that on the same aisle as that's not on the same aisle as the soft drinks?
I don't drink either.
I don't either.
No, not anymore because there's so many of them.
Because now they're.
I looked down the aisle and there's just
you could fill an aisle of them now.
There's two sides of cans and bottles.
Oh, I know.
I don't know.
It's everything.
Well, and now everything is not only energy, but it has added electrolytes and amino acids. So there's the whole.
My point is that she could have gone down the grocery store aisle and bought it, and the same thing happened. Yeah.
I don't know, but if it's right next to Monster and Red Bull and all that, not next to Country Time,
but
then I don't think she would.
The whole section isn't labeled as, hey, this is high caffeine stuff. They're just up there together.
But it's on the can, so she could have looked at it.
You think the Sprite, or let's say something that Sprite has no caffeine, right? You think the Sprite could be right next to Charged Lemonade in the store?
I don't know.
I don't either.
But I do.
I don't think it is.
But I do think Red Bull and all those other ones are conglomerated together on one side of the aisle.
Yeah.
Over a section.
I do too, but I don't
they're
think
not labeled.
But I don't think she could drink Red Bull. She probably knew she couldn't drink Red Bull. You know,
Probably.
I would think
so. She would, but how would she know that?
Well, I think there's confusion of, is this just lemonade? You know, she's thinking it's just lemonade.
I think the confusion stands with how was it labeled in the store.
Did
it just say charged?
But that's the point she's making. It's right next to all these other drinks that were fine for her.
And what better place to sample a new drink you've never had in your life than at a fountain?
Right.
That you say, oh, well, here's a chance to try it for free.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it, then I'll
pour it out and have something else.
Yes.
Mark, you're talking about Charged Lemonade in this terribly sad legal case. Go ahead.
No, it's really sad, but I am 100% with Sports Ryan. I think the word charged, you know, as someone like myself who has to watch everything that they put in their body for obvious health reasons, there's no way I'd put something in my body that I didn't know what it was. So I feel bad for the family, but I think I side more with, unfortunately, overpriced hospital food Panera.
Amen to that. Everything you just said is exactly right. First of all, I wouldn't go in. I can't say it.
It wouldn't shock me if they settle the company.
Oh, I think they will.
They got the money from one store to settle.
And it's now, full disclosure, Biggie spoke about what he called Genera about a month ago and said what you just said, overpriced hospital food.
Yeah.
Genera. Chris, one more comment on this story. If you missed it, this 21-year-old student at the University of Pennsylvania had a pre-existing heart condition, went into Panera, thought she was getting lemonade, got charged lemonade, which is way higher in caffeine than she thought, and wound up dying from it. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, so the article I read said she drank a 30-ounce cup. So even if it's the same caffeine as a cup of coffee, that's like 3 times the size of a normal cup of coffee.
It is.
That's a big gulp.
It's already not really.
Yeah.
She's running that risk.
30 ounces, but I don't know. It's a good. I do think ultimately you do have responsibility over what you put into yourself. You know, if you're drinking it, especially if you have a health condition like this, you do have to take some responsibility.
You go to court if you're Panera.
No, if I was Panera, I would pay it off.
They'll settle.
Yeah,
I wonder what they want.
I would settle
bagels for life.
Yeah, I wouldn't take. I
would want the money.
I wouldn't have.
Wouldn't want the bagels.
Those bagels?
That ain't a bagel.
Brugger's maybe.
Maybe.
Einstein definitely.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Not Panera.
No.
I'll see you in court, Panera.
That's right. But don't bring any bagels.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.